Okay, so today we are going to break down how to burn fat, how to balance your hormones with my 14-day hormone reset cleanse. So if you're thinking I've tried all the things, I'm doing the things and you feel like your body is just not responding, you feel like you're not getting the return for the effort that you're putting in. I totally get it because there's a step that almost every program misses, especially for women over 40. And I'm going to break that down for you. So today we're going to talk about what's happening for a lot of women. You know, what I see all the time is that your body is caught in a cycle. And in this cycle, it's where your hormones slow down, inflammation increases, and this cycle to where it's a few pounds off, a few more on, a few pounds off, a few more on, and all of a sudden you feel like the Pillsbury Doughboy. So this cycle, your body's in a cycle, and this cycle is where your metabolism slows down automatically over 40, where your hormones are all over the place, where everything feels harder than it should be. And if you don't break this cycle, then you're just going to keep repeating that cycle. So I'm going to break that for you today. I'm going to show you exactly how to break it. You know, I've been working with women for over 30, I just aged myself, not over 30 years, but for 30 years, but for the last 15 years, I've solely just focused on understanding a woman's metabolism over 40. And this is what I see all the time is that you're consistent, right? You're doing the things. And then what happens is like I said, the needle's barely moving. So then your motivation goes away. It starts to just go down like a deflated balloon. Your energy starts to go in the tank and weight loss just doesn't happen. And you're like, what the Here's the good thing, you guys, is that it's completely fixable. I'm going to show you how to do it with the Hormone Reset Cleanse. So today, what we're going to cover is I'm going to share with you what we call the hormone weight gain cycle, how to identify if you're in the hormone weight gain cycle, and then I'm going to show you how to actually break that cycle with the 14-day hormone reset cleanse. This is my specific cleanse. I will explain to you why it's different and then the things that you should know, and I'm going to cover some FAQ. And as you're here, go ahead, comment in the chat as far as any questions that you might have. At the end, I'll cover those questions for you. So if you ever thought to yourself, things just don't work the way that they used to, I get it, right? I just talked about it. You're like, Lydia, I don't really eat bad. I kind of do, I'm not perfect. I work out. Maybe I'm not a gym rat. And things just aren't moving for me. I don't get it. And if you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I just don't know my body anymore, this is the right place for you. But let me explain to you why things just stop working for you, or that's how you feel. And how you feel is real. This is not something that's in your mind. You get told, push the plate away. You get told that your labs are normal. You get told to just get up and move more. And yeah, there's a little bit of validity to that. But let me explain to you why things have become harder and how we actually can make the shift so it's not so hard and it's not so frustrating on you. Okay. That's the hormone weight gain cycle. So, what happens with the hormone weight gain cycle is that we have the hormone shifts. Like I said, you have you have your metabolism slows down. You have where your stress is increased on the body because of perimenopause and menopause. And what does that equal? That equals fat storage mode. But like I said, the good thing is that we can actually break it. Now, this cycle is what I call the hormone weight gain cycle. What is it? It's inflammation, it's gut disruption, it's what I say liver dysfunction, but actually a gunked up liver. Why does that matter to you? Because your liver is your filtration station and it is your number one fat burning organ. If it cannot flush things out, if it cannot get rid of not just toxins, but metabolized hormones, then your metabolic pathway is all kinked up. So that's why the things that you're doing, and it's not just your liver, the things that you're trying, you get a little bit of results, but it's not worth the effort. I've been there. And then what happens when you have inflammation, gut disruption, liver dysfunction, or a gunked up liver, it disrupts your hormones. It disrupts, increases cortisol, increases insulin. It makes your thyroid thuggish, sluggish, and that is your metabolic hormones on top of your metabolic hormones that are going on decline, your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, and then of course the weight gain. See, and weight just doesn't show up because we ate bad yesterday. Okay, weight is a symptom of other things that are going on in your body. And until you address inflammation, gut, and liver, you're going to continue to go through that cycle where I said it's a few pounds off, a few more on, a few pounds off, a few more on, and you're just completely frustrated. As I said, you're looking in the mirror and you feel like you're looking at the Pillsbury Doughboy. Woohoo! So what causes that weight gain cycle? Okay, now, there's a few different things because people are like, well, it's because you've aged. That's part of it. See, you're just getting half truths out in the industry. They're not giving you the full information. And that's why I solely just focus on understanding a woman's metabolism once we hit 40, 50, 60, what's going on with our body. But there's things that we do and things that have been happening to our body that is causing this weight gain cycle. What are those things? First thing, there's actually 5 factors that influence the weight gain cycle, the hormone weight gain cycle. First one is stress. You know, they always talk about stress being the number one contributor to heart disease today, or not just heart disease, but to disease. And it's not just that. I want you to think about stress because when we think about stress, we think about mental and emotional, but there's actually 3 levels of stress. Why is that the number one contributor to disease, to time out from work, to even the top contributor to just death in general, all cause mortality? Because it impacts us in those 3 different ways. You have mental and emotional. It can be things that you're dealing with currently. Maybe you're going through a divorce or you've been through a divorce. We're at that age where we're losing loved ones. We're become caregivers. Maybe you've been trauma that you've never addressed. Maybe you're not liking your career or you want a career change. Maybe it's financial issues. Those are all mental and emotional stresses. But then you have physical stress. Physical stress on the body can look like working out too much and not allowing your body to recover. It can look like a cold. It can look like a flu. It can be a pregnancy, a birth. It can be a broken bone. It could be, menopause. Go figure. A lot of people don't realize is that it's a stressful environment when our hormones start to go down because our hormones dictate everything. Our hormones are going to determine how healthy we are, how healthy we age, whether we're happy, whether we're sad, whether we have mental clarity or not, whether we're hungry, whether we're full, whether we have a libido, no libido, how we build muscle, how we maintain muscle, how we lose muscle, how our bones are. I mean, all of it. So that stress of menopause increases our cortisol levels. So that adds to it. And then there's, of course, environmental stress. Our environmental stress is going to be the things that you breathe in your air, the perfumes and lotions and makeup and chemicals that might be on your food, the things that you're drinking. All of those add to that stressful environment. And that's increasing our inflammation. Saying inflammation, like I said, like weight is a symptom. Inflammation just doesn't show up. And inflammation, I'm going to share with you in a second. It's inflammation in the body is like an alarm system going off in your house. Your fire alarm's going off, but you're like, okay, well, you know what? That's just really annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the battery so I don't hear the alarm going off anymore. And we just ignore the symptoms. I'm going to explain a little bit more of that. But inflammation just doesn't show up. It shows up because of things in our environment, but not only the stress. What else is the contributor of the 5 factors? We have food. Our food in America, call it SAD, the standard American diet. And yeah, have they just recently changed the food pyramid? But really, did you need the government to tell you what you should be eating? Here's the thing with our food. It's highly processed, it's highly refined, it's highly addictive. And you're saying, no, Lydia, but I eat clean. Okay, you eat clean, and I want to explain to you a little bit more why you need more than just eating clean, but even some of the healthy foods or deemed healthy foods that you're eating could be causing an irritation in your body. And when there's irritation, there's inflammation. And I'll break more of that down for you. But our food supply is one of the issues. Then we have activity or lack thereof. We either do too much or we're doing too little. And we know that we're sitting more than ever. And they talk about sitting being the new smoking, to where 20 minutes of just sitting can be equivalent to smoking a pack of cigarettes. Or excuse me, yeah, smoking a pack, or maybe it was one cigarette. But anyway, you get the point. So activity and lack thereof. And then there's, of course, there's rest or lack thereof. We're overworked. We're constantly busy. We're constantly stressed out. We've made being too busy and being stressed, we actually glorify it. Like, oh, I'm busy, but who isn't busy? So with our health in our life, we don't prioritize or understand how important sleeping is, taking time out, meditation, praying, walking, simple things that are going to help your body relax to actually help it heal. And if it's constantly in a busy mode, it never heals, it never restores. And then, of course, there's other lifestyle habits, general lifestyle habits. What are your lifestyle habits? Do you drink or not? Do you smoke or not? Do you get 10,000 steps or not? That's part of activity, but it's still a lifestyle habit. Do you take supplements or not? Do you do peptides or not? Do you drink enough water or not? Those are all lifestyle habits that are contributors to the hormone weight gain cycle. And if the cycle is not addressed, like I said, you'll continue to repeat it and you'll consistently be frustrated. So these 5 factors influence inflammation, gut disruption, liver dysfunction. If these 3 things are not addressed, you're constantly caught in that cycle. Inflammation, gut disruption. If there's inflammation, you have gut disruption. If you have gut disruption, you have liver dysfunction. You have liver dysfunction, you have gut disruption. If you have liver dysfunction, you have inflammation. Get it? They don't stand alone. So the most important thing is that we want to address these 3 things so we can start balancing out our hormones and opening up our metabolic pathway. That's where the 14-day Hormone Reset Cleanse comes in. We're going to reduce inflammation. We're going to start healing our gut. Why healing our gut? Because they say in the US right today is that it's not a matter if you have leaky gut, it's how severe is your leaky gut. When your gut is off, even when you're eating healthy foods, you're not absorbing those nutrients and transporting them to the rest of the body. Everybody's so focused on getting protein in, protein in, protein in, which is really important. But if your gut is off, you're not even breaking down that protein and getting the amino acids that you need, and it's not transporting to the rest of the body. If the liver's gunked up, well, then this just keeps filtering the same gunk and transporting it through your whole body. That's why we have the inflammation. So you're like, let's go do a cleanse. Now, I want you to understand, you're not just going to go do some green juice cleanse or, cayenne pepper and, oregano oil cleanse or, do some kit. The most important thing is you want to reduce that inflammation. You want to start supporting the gut, like I said, and you want to start, healing the gut and supporting the liver. And support the liver so you can start opening up those metabolic pathways. As I said, your liver is your number 1 fat burning organ and it is your filtration station. So when we focus on that, what's really important for women over 40, this is where we are. This is where we're stuck. That's why if you're doing, Lydia, I've done macros and it doesn't work for me. Or I've done keto, I've done paleo, I've done Weight Watchers, I've done you fill in the blank and it worked for a little bit. but then it stalled because this wasn't addressed. But like I said, you just don't want to go out and do any type of cleanse because as we start to go through that inevitable hormonal decline, wah, wah, the perimenopause, the menopause, postmenopause, what happens is that we automatically start to become catabolic, meaning that we're breaking down muscle. And muscle is what makes our body look good, but it supports our immune system. It's going to help with our bone. The stronger that your bones are, everything and on how we age. So our main goal not only is to reduce inflammation, heal your gut, support your liver, it's to protect your muscle. That's what's really important. And most of these cleanses out there do not support your muscle. So now you're compromising your body even more. So this is important. So let's talk about how do we know? You guys get that? Like, how do we know that if we're in this cycle? Well, inflammation. What does inflammation look like to you on a surface level? It's achy joints. It can be dark circles under your eyes. It can be puffiness when you wake up. It can be water retention, especially in your face or just in general. You start out your day, you feel good halfway through the day, you can't get your rings off, you take off your socks and you still look like you have socks on because you're so inflamed. It could be breakouts in your skin. It could be constant fatigue. It can be weight gain that makes you feel really puffy and bloated. It could be digestive distress. That's all inflammation. And what I said a few minutes ago, talking about that alarm system, okay? This is what I want you to understand. See, we live with a bunch of symptoms and we're taught to like ignore them, not sometimes even ignore them, but give it a pill. You have achy joints, you have a headache, take a pill. Oh, achy joints, take one pill a day and your cares will go away, right? Instead of saying, okay, why are my joints achy? Why do I have a headache? Am I dehydrated? Am I eating enough? Am I sleeping enough? Am I getting the nutrients in or not? So we don't ask the questions. And that's the equivalent of, when you have symptoms, things that you're dealing with, and you think, oh, it's just par for the course, that's equivalent to you taking the battery out of your alarm system and say, oh, yeah, there's a fire, but whatever. You're not even going to worry about it. That's what you're doing. That alarm's going off and it's really annoying. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, there's a fire, what do I do? You just ignore it. And that's how you've been taught. So I want you to think about it. So that's inflammation. What about gut? How do we know that we have gut issues? Do you feel bloated all the time? Do you feel bloated after you eat? Do you feel bloated even when you eat healthy or when you eat specific carbohydrates? Do you have belching after meals? Do you get foggy minded or almost lethargic after you eat? Do you have IBS? Do you have diarrhea? Do you have constipation? Again, do you have skin issues? Do you have like skin issues? It could be acne, it could be eczema, it could be rosacea, it could be psoriasis. Again, weight that's plateaued, or you're just really sensitive to food and you feel like you gain weight if you have or eat off plan, right? Those are all signs. And what about your liver? Your liver can be you're waking up in the morning and you feel groggy. It takes you quite a few minutes or maybe even hours to feel like you're awake, or maybe you're waking up and you feel hungover and you hadn't even been drinking. Again, skin issues, weight issues, gallbladder issues, digestive issues, pancreas issues, headaches, brain fog. Those are all simple signs that we just tend to ignore all the time. And then when it goes into our hormones, what happens? We have increase in insulin. Guys, ladies, insulin is either our fat burning friend or a fat burning foe. And it's The statistics are right now that 96% of women over 40 are what we call insulin resistant. What does that mean? It means that you do not process carbohydrates properly, even healthy carbohydrates, quality carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates. And when insulin is resistant, that means that you have too much floating around in your system and your body just ignores it. And when you have insulin floating around that is not operating properly, that is resistance, well, fat burning ceases to exist. And of course, you have cortisol. And what does that, some of the symptoms that I just talked about are also symptoms of excess insulin or resistant insulin. Then you have where cortisol goes up. I talked about it. This, when these things are off, this causes stress on the body. But let's add in the hormonal decline. Perimenopause and menopause is a catastrophic event on the body. It's stressful. Your cortisol automatically goes up. When your cortisol goes up, we're gaining weight around our midsection. We're feeling puffy. We're waking up feeling groggy. We're losing muscle. Our bone gets weakened because of that. I mean, a whole bunch of different things. And when you have that, insulin is high, cortisol is high, metabolic hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone are going down. What happens is that then it starts weakening out your thyroid, and your thyroid is also a metabolic hormone that's going to help with your body temperature. It's going to help with your brain functioning, and it actually supports and helps run your metabolism and an effective metabolism. So you want a healthy metabolism, because a lean, mean, fat burning machine is what helps you age healthily. See, sometimes people just think about your metabolism as this vanity part of the body. No, and it's all about how healthily you age. And when your metabolism is functioning properly, you feel better throughout the day. You have more energy throughout the day. Of course, you are burning fat for fuel better instead of storing it. Not only that, it's going to determine how healthily you age. This is the key. So there's a lot to this weight gain and the hormone weight gain cycle. So that's how we identify whether we're in the cycle. And I know you're already in the cycle. 9 out of 10 women that I see on a regular basis are in the cycle. So what do we do about it? That's the key. Let's talk about how we actually break this cycle. I'm going to show you what we call the Hormone Reset Cleanse, and it's a 14-day cleanse that's going to help support your, like I said, it's going to help reduce inflammation. It's going to help start healing your gut, and it's going to help start supporting your liver so you can open up your metabolic pathways. What's really important, though, at the same time, is that it's going to help you protect your muscle, because that is important, as I already talked about. It is key to what we do. Now, with our Hormone Reset Cleanse, we don't emit any macronutrients. You're not emitting protein, you're not emitting fat, you're not emitting carbohydrates, but you're going to take them in within specific ratios, because what our cleanse is based on macronutrients. It's strategically taking in your macronutrients, your protein, your fat, and your carbohydrates in specific ratios for 14 days to reduce that inflammation, to start, healing your gut and supporting your liver so we could start burning fat again. This is literally how you turn back on your fat burning capabilities. All right. So what do we do? How do we do it? Let's break this down. So it's really an anti-inflammatory cleanse, and I have my notes here in front of me. Even though I do this all the time, for some reason, I feel like I was going to forget something. All right. Why is this different? Well, one, because we're not emitting any whole food groups. Number two, is because we're focusing on macros. And number three, we're also focusing on quality. See, a lot of times people are like, oh, just eat quality food. Quality food's important, but the ratios are even that more important. See, calories will determine your weight loss, energy in versus energy out. But it's your macronutrients, your protein, your fat, your carbohydrates that will determine how fit and strong you are, right? How fit you actually look. Like sculpting your body. But then it's the quality of those macronutrients that will determine how healthy you feel, the energy that you have, and how healthily you age. But not only that, with the cleanse, with the Hormone Reset Cleanse, it's the ratios in which you're going to take them in. It's so you're not just going to have some random numbers, and you only do this for 14 days up to 6 weeks. So with your macronutrients, first thing is your protein. We have to protect muscle, and the amount of protein that you get in is going to help you support muscle. It's going to help support your hair, your skin, your nails. I mean, everything when it comes to your immune system, collagen, elastin, all of those things. But then you still need those carbohydrates, and you still need those fats, because protein and fat are going to help with hormone production. And then your carbohydrates are going to help with transportation, but not just transportation. It's going to help support your thyroid. Carbohydrates are also going to help support muscle building. But the ratios in which you're taking them in is going to do the three things that we talked about. We're also going to help bring down stress, cortisol, balance out the cortisol, but also help you start getting that insulin that's resistant, more insulin sensitive. It doesn't happen automatically in 14 days. This is the jump start for your system. Does that make sense? So first thing is your macros. Let's talk about the ratio that you're going to take them in. Your protein is the first thing that we're going to focus on. And I'm going to tell you in a second, like what protein that you're taking in, because what we're going to do with the cleanse is that you're going to take in protein for your body weight, what's important for you, but then we're going to increase our fat for those 14 days, and then we're going to bring down our starchy carbohydrates. Understand, when I'm saying carbohydrates, I'm specifically talking about starchy carbohydrates. What I'm going to For the cleanse, one of the things I always say that your green leafy vegetables, your cruciferous vegetables, they're like free carbohydrates because they're so nutrient dense, automatically low in calories, full of phytonutrients that your body needs. It helps support your liver, helps support your digestive system, full of fiber. So those are just free, okay? But your protein, we're going to focus on grams. That's what you want to focus on. We're not going to focus specifically on calories, but we want to focus on grams. And if you don't track, this is where you need to change. You're like, oh, no. Nothing will become really dynamic until you become really specific. And you don't have to be perfect, but you just want to be aware. So many women will go out and they just start changing things, and they don't even know where they are at that current moment. And then they change a bunch of things and they don't really know what's completely working. And so when they plateau, they don't know how to change things because they don't have any data, real detail. And that's why tracking is really important. But with your protein, what you're going to do is that you are going to consume 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of lean body mass. So if you weigh 124, you're going to be taking 124 grams of protein. Now, for some of you, I realize that's a little intimidating right now because maybe you are carrying more weight than you'd like to at the moment. Maybe you're over 200 pounds. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, I need to eat 200 grams of protein in, and you might only get like 60 in right now. That's usually like the average we see with women, which is really low. First thing is that you should never be taking in less than 100 grams of protein a day if you're over 40, unless you weigh less than 100 pounds. But if you weigh more than 200 pounds, you're like, okay, what can I do? This is where you want to start, because there's a lot of different formulas out there. They'll tell you 0.82 times your body weight. That's what they'll tell you. That's if you're super lean. You can go as low as 6.5 times your body weight. to get your protein needs if you're over 200 pounds. Makes it simple, okay? That's where you're going to focus. That's where you want to start getting your protein in as far as your grams. Next is your fat. Your fat, you're going to be taking in roughly 70 grams or more of quality fat. And I'm going to tell you what's quality. Quality protein, quality fat, and then your starchy carbohydrates, you're going to take in anywhere from 80 grams to 120 grams of a quality carbohydrate. Okay? So those are your macro numbers. You only do this for 14 days. You could do it up to 6 weeks. And I'm going to let you know, how do you know if you should be doing it longer than 14 days? But let's talk about some of the food that you're actually going to take in. Okay? Let's talk about protein. Okay, so we don't omit any whole food groups, but what you are going to do is that you are going to avoid specific inflammatory foods. You're going to avoid dairy, you're going to avoid gluten, you're going to avoid corn, you're going to avoid red meat. Not that red meat is inflammatory, not that it's bad. Grass-fed beef is amazing, but when your gut is off, it's harder on the digestive system. So we want to give our body proteins that are easier to digest for these 14 days. Now, you're going to omit those. We're going to stay away from certain citrus like oranges, like grapefruit, because they can carry a lot of bacteria. Like we're going to stay away from grapes. Now, you're going to stay away from those specific foods for the 14 days. And then after the 14 days, you're going to incorporate them one by one back in, slowly, one at a time, one meal, to see how your body responds. And it doesn't matter. Here's the thing, because some people, well, Lydia, I do organic yogurt. I do organic dairy. It doesn't matter if it's organic, even corn. It doesn't matter if it's organic. It doesn't matter if it's not genetically modified. They are naturally inflammatory. Cow dairy is naturally inflammatory to the body. And it's the difference of protein. So you're like, because you say cow dairy, sheep dairy, goat dairy is actually, it's just different because of the A protein, A1, A2 versus protein. But we're not going to get into all of that. Can you do goat? Can you do sheep? Not at this time. You don't want to do any type of dairies, okay? So we're going to avoid those specific things. And again, it doesn't matter if they're organic or not because they're naturally inflammatory. Protein that you're going to take in, you're going to take in organic poultry. It could be white meat and dark meat because the fat is good as long as it's organic. You're going to take in organic eggs. You're going to take in wild-caught fish. You want to take in salmon because salmon is really high in omega-3s. And that's going to help support reducing that inflammation. It's going to start healing the gut. It's going to help support your brain. It's going to help with insulin sensitivity, is what you want. There's so many benefits. The studies on omega-3s is mind-boggling. So you want to take in wild-caught fish, like the salmon. You're going to take in herring, lake trout, mackerel, sardines. You can do fresh, you can do canned, you can do frozen. You just want to make sure that it's wild caught. Now, for me personally, I don't eat fish. I don't like fish. Don't like the smell of it. Don't like the taste of it. Just don't. I eat crabs here and there. Can you have shellfish? Yes, you can. But I'm really going to suggest that you do the fish that is like high in omegas. But if you're like me, you don't eat seafood, okay, so now you're limited on your protein source. But so if you don't eat seafood, I'm going to highly recommend that you do omega-3 supplement. And our company, Complete Body Labs, actually has a great omega-3 supplement. And if you do Lydia 15, you actually get 15% off when you go order. Now, if you don't do fish like I do, then you just need to make sure that you're getting in your protein grams. People are like, well, can I do a protein shake? Don't do whey. You could do a plant-based protein shake. I'm not crazy about plant-based proteins just because they're more gritty. You've got to really look at the ingredients. You don't want a lot of ingredients. You don't want artificial sweeteners. You don't want artificial coloring. You don't want a bunch of mixed things. You want to make sure that it's organic. So there's like Orgain. There's, I'm trying to remember, Orgain, Transparent Labs. There's another one. You can also do egg white protein powder. You can identify that again, but you have to look at the sources. Next, fats. Your fats that you're going to take in, you're going to do, like we talked about, the high fatty fishes, like salmon is going to give you a good source of fat. But you're going to do extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, MCT oil, avocado oil, ghee. You can do grass-fed butter. Those are all great sources of fat. And you're like, well, okay, am I just going to add it? Yes, you're going to add it to your meals, because with this whole ratio, it's going to be naturally lower in calories because it's such, let's use the word clean, right? It's high in nutrients, naturally low in calories. So that's why I say you can do dark meat when it comes to poultry, making sure that you're getting that fat in. So think about making sauces, quality sauces. You're going to add butter. If you do eggs, put butter in the pan, and you're going to log all of that because you want to make sure that you're getting in enough fat. You've got to get in that 70 grams or more because your carbohydrates are going to be low to moderate. Okay. Now let's talk about your starchy carbohydrates. Your starchy carbohydrates, you can do beans, you can do lentils, you can do potatoes, any type of potato. You can do root vegetables. You can do rice. If you do rice, you want to make sure that it's organic. If you're going to do oats, you got to make sure that they're organic, steel cut oats. If they're not, then don't do them. So those are the starchy carbohydrates that you can do. And people are like, okay, I want to break this down for a second of like, what does this look like for you? For example, 100, like for me, I would do 100, I do anywhere from 124 grams of protein up to 134. That's my averages. So what does that look like in a day for you? Because if you haven't been logging, you might, oh, I don't know, it sounds like a lot. And the reason that I want you to log, the biggest thing is your carbohydrates. See, people are doing when they do something like this, they don't realize how much starchy carbohydrates they can actually get in. Now, let me rewind for a second. Your vegetables, I mentioned it earlier, they're free. I don't have you log your vegetables. I want you to eat as many green leafy vegetables and cruciferous vegetables as you can. Spinach, arugula, kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, just the green leafy cruciferous, the more, the better. As many servings of it as that your stomach can handle. Because I know if you're not used to doing a lot of these vegetables, you could do them steamed, you can do them raw, you can do them grilled. You can add, some butter with garlic to them because you want to get that fat in. But, you just want to make sure that you get in as much as possible. So you don't log those because your starches is what you're trying to pay attention to. Now, let's break this down of like, what does that look like in a day for you? So if I do 124 grams to 134 grams of protein, it could be 2 to 3 whole eggs, organic eggs in the morning. It could be a piece of, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the morning because I fast. It could be 180 grams of oats, still cut organic oats. Then I'm going to add about 10 to 15 grams of nuts, like I can have walnuts. We can do cashews. We can do pecans. And then we're going to do maybe one piece of toast. and that could be gluten-free toast. But you have to make sure when you're looking at anything that's prepackaged, like bread, you want to make sure that it doesn't have any seed oils in it, doesn't have any type of just extras. So, and you want to make sure that it doesn't have corn in it, and make sure that it has anything that's not on the list that you're not supposed to be consuming. Then I might put 5 to 7 grams of grass-fed butter on that toast. Right? So that's like one meal. The next meal, let's say, because I really don't do by 3 meals a day, 2 snacks. I just focus on getting my calories, my macronutrients in. So the next meal could look like chicken breasts, about 200 to 300 grams. What does that look like? It's going to be a palm size, but then it's going to be about a deck of cards. Palm size, deck of cards on average. But I want to recommend that you get a scale. So you have this scale, and with this scale, you'll be able to start eyeballing things, because you're going to start learning what actual grams look like, what actual serving sizes look like. Then I might have 1 serving of 1 cup of cooked rice, 1 potato that's going to be a tight fist size. Maybe it's a sweet potato, white potato, purple potato, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's going to be spaghetti squash. Then a bunch of vegetables, then I'm going to do broccoli. I might do asparagus. I might do a salad. If I do a salad, then, I'm going to make my dressing, and I'm going to put nuts in it. I'm going to put the chicken in it. I'm going to put avocado in it. I'm going to, maybe put some strawberries in it, because you can have fruit if we just want to stay away from the specific citrus. See, that's what another meal. And then it can be maybe a plant-based shake. You have to look at the things that you enjoy eating that can fall within that range. Or it might be some more protein, as far as more chicken. It might be I eat some more eggs. Maybe I make a frittata with some potatoes and egg whites and 1 egg. It just depends on where my nutrients are at the given day and how I'm going to finish my day. So I just want to kind of give you an idea of what that actually can look like. Does that make sense to you guys? All right, so let me rewind. So your protein, you're going to take your protein in. It's going to be 1 gram per pound of body weight, and or if you're over 200 pounds, you can go as low as you can do times 0.82, as low as times 0.65 to figure out your grams of weight. You're going to do at least 70 grams of fat, if not more, and you're going to do anywhere from 80 to 120 grams of starchy carbohydrates. Your vegetables are unlimited. Now, we talked about the sources. Now let's talk about, let me show you what I talked about the food. Let me show you like what your day is going to do. You're going to wake up in the morning. First thing in the morning, what you want to do before you do anything is that you want to have some warm water. You're going to drink juice of a half a lemon, fresh, or, you could do making sure that there's no additives in it if you buy a prepackaged lemon juice, with a tablespoon of organic apple cider vinegar, and you're going to drink that. This is going to help your digestive system. It's going to help your gallbladder, and it's going to help set up your pH system for the day. That's the first thing that you're going to do every morning. And this is something that you continue even after the cleanse. When it comes to your food, one of the things people, as I mentioned, they're like, how many meals a day do you eat? It just depends. I don't do 3 meals, 2 snacks, or 3 meals and 3 snacks. Because I focus on my macronutrient grams, I focus on what do I need to get in to meet my macro grams. And that's what you want to start paying attention to, because that's what's going to help sculpt your body as well, to really change your physique. Making sure that you're getting in the protein in for your weight, making sure that you're getting in the fat that you need, making sure that you're getting in the starchy carbohydrates that you need. But if you want to look at it that way, snacking is an optional thing, okay? If you're fasting, again, that because I fast, Do you have to fast during the cleanse? No, but that's something that we do. We've incorporated it into our lifestyle. So it just comes naturally to me right now. I'm going to suggest if you haven't fasted before, if it's new to you, then don't focus on fasting. Just focus on getting your nutrients in. After the cleanse, then you might want to start focusing on fasting because that's going to help support your insulin sensitivity, which is what you want. That's going to help that fat burning that we're trying to do. We're looking to correct your metabolism. We're not looking to just put a piece of duct tape over a hole in a boat, okay? Your water intake throughout the day. Your water intake, you want at least 8 8-ounce glasses, or take your body weight, divide it in half, and that's how many ounces that you want to get in a day. You want filtered, clean water. Can you do soda water? Yes. Make sure that there's no artificial sweeteners or flavors in the water. I talked about your protein. So when you're looking at your meals for the day, like I said, we're just focused on getting those grams in, but each meal you're going to hit your target if you focus on your meals and your snacks of having at least 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal or snack. Then you're going to meet your protein needs through the day. And I said, what does that look like? A chicken breast, palm size deck of cards, when it's anywhere from 275 to 300 grams, is going to give you roughly 25 grams to 30 grams of protein. 3 full eggs is going to give you just under that. Then you can add some egg whites in there to really bump up your protein without bumping up your calories. Another thing that you can make sure that you're taking is amino acids, clean amino acids with nothing in it to help support that protein intake as well and your body functioning. Do you need it on a regular basis? Not if you're getting your protein in, okay? Vegetables, like I said, they're unlimited, organic if possible, but if they're not organic, then make sure that you use a vegetable wash. I use Clean Boss, and it just makes it easy. You can get it right on Amazon. And just get in as much as you can. Our whole purpose, lower inflammation, start healing your gut, start supporting your liver, improving the insulin sensitivity, and protecting your muscle so we can turn back on that fat burning capability, open up those metabolic pathways. Now, what else? Talked about gluten-free grains, okay? You could do beans, brown rice, millet, quinoa, sweet potatoes, white potatoes, organic rice, it doesn't matter. And when you're doing those servings, again, I want you to use a scale. You can get one right on Amazon. They're inexpensive. They're easy to use. So you can start seeing, say, I've been weighing foods for years and people are like, oh, that's so intense. Not really. Because I've been weighing all my food, I weigh my meat raw, I weigh any type of grain dry, and then fruit, vegetables, they are what they are. When I go out, I've been doing it so much, I know what an actual serving size looks like. Majority of women don't know what an actual serving size looks like. And when you start understanding what a true serving size looks like, you can realize you can start seeing how off you were in your ratios. And this is going to support your fat burning capabilities, is be able to identify that. It's not about restriction. This is just about understanding, right? And so when you have understanding, when you have the right information, you can make an informed, educated decision on what you're doing, okay? I talked about the oils, talked about seeds, and also mentioned about the 14 days. So you're going to omit those foods for 14 days. The gluten, the dairy, the corn, the red meat, alcohol, artificial sweeteners. You don't need artificial sweeteners. You don't really need alcohol, right? You might feel like you need it, but you don't need it, okay? You're going to omit those things for at least 14 days. And then one by one, incorporate them back in after the 14 days and identify how they make you feel. Some of the symptoms I talked about, If you notice that you're having sinus issues, you start getting a headache, your dark circles under your eyes, your skin gets itchy, you feel bloated, digestive distress, water retention, you sleep really heavy, so you wake up groggy. Those are all signs that there's irritation. Where there's irritation, there's inflammation. So with those foods, once you identify, then you identify, okay, do I want to feel this way sometimes or not at all? And you make the decision whether you want to have them. And I'm not going to tell you not to eat them. You get to make the decision. Is this going to love my body, right? Because you might love a food, but it doesn't necessarily love you back. I am that person. Dairy doesn't love me back. Corn doesn't love me back. Gluten doesn't love me back. So, am I completely free of it? No. I'm like 90% dairy free, corn free, gluten free. When I'm at home, it's all dairy free, gluten free, corn free. But when I go out, I let it slide a little bit. But and then when I do it too much, I could feel that difference. So I've made that decision for myself. Okay. Now, frequently asked questions. I think we covered that. What can you expect? What can you expect? The things that you can expect in the beginning is like you're going to feel energized. You're going to feel good. And then around day 3, 4, maybe even 5, you're going to be like, you're going to feel more fatigued. You might have a headache. You might feel lethargic. You slept really heavy. This is normal. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen for everybody, but if you're having those symptoms, it's a sign that your body's actually detoxing. Don't get discouraged. Don't try to do anything different. Just make sure that you're staying hydrated. Make sure that you're doing electrolytes. Make sure that you're eating enough food. Give your body permission to actually rest. Don't try to push harder, because then after about the 5th day, what happens is you go up, then it goes down, and that's common. A lot of times things will get worse before they actually get better. Things go down, like you invest in something, your bank account goes down before it goes back up, right? So your body is going to go down because it's detoxing, but then as you stick with it, it comes back up. You start feeling better, and it's going to level out where that energy is there. You're going to notice that you slept well. You didn't have to sleep as long. Mental clarity is there. Your energy sustains throughout the day. That's what you're going to notice. Then the question is, can I do it longer than 6 weeks or longer than 14 days? Now, when do you know if you should do it longer than 14 days? Well, first, have your symptoms not subsided? Like, okay, you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to last that long. It depends on how gunked up you are. We have individuals, majority of individuals are women, don't have to go past the 14 days. Every once in a while, we have someone that's just a digestive hormonal wreck, and they go a little bit longer. So if you're feeling a little bit better, but not great, that's a sign. But you also have to ask yourself, if you're feeling a little bit better, but not great, am I getting the protein in, enough protein in for my body weight? Am I getting the calories in for my body weight? Am I making sure that I'm drinking enough water? Am I doing electrolytes? Am I resting properly? Those things are all going to contribute. If you answer no to any of them, it's not really your body detoxing. It's that you're not getting in what your body needs. Calories give your body energy, right? And then the ratios determine the quality of that energy, how long it sustains, how you feel, how you rest, how your digestive system is, all of those different things, okay? So with that, you can stay on it. If you're doing everything correctly and you're still feeling a little thuggish, right, sluggish, then stay on it. Do you want to go past the 6 weeks? No, it's not recommended. The reason is because this is the ratios in which you're taking things in. You're doing higher fat, a lower starchy carbohydrate for a period of time. Not only that, by default, because of the food list, because of the ratios which you're taking in, and you're naturally taking in foods that are low in calories, high in nutrients, You need to bump up your calories, but not just bump up your calories. You need to bump up your carbohydrates and bring your fat back down. Your fat, what does that look like? Your carbohydrates, what you would want to do at 6 weeks. Why is this important? So let me rewind. The reason that this is important because your carbohydrates help support your testosterone, help support muscle, help support brain function, help support energy, help support your thyroid. And if you go too long with too low, then it's what we call metabolic adaptation. It's going to slow down your metabolism. What we want to do is we want to boost our metabolism. Remember, our metabolism is already slow. So we need to give it a surge. So at the 6 week mark, you're going to go back up to like a maintenance level, depending on where you are in your activity level. But that means that your fat comes down and your carbohydrates go up. Your protein stays the same based on your weight. What does that look like for you? So your fat comes down. Looking at your calories, this is why tracking is important. If you're taking in 1,800 calories for the day, then you want your fat to be, on average, anywhere from 25 to 35% of your calories. And then the rest is protein and carbohydrates. Your carbohydrates, depending on your activity, you want it anywhere from 150 to upwards. It can be over 200 grams of starchy carbohydrates, depending on your muscle mass and your activity, but you have to increase it at that 6 week mark. If you don't, you're going to risk the chances of compromising your hormones, but also slowing down your metabolism. So that's the answer to that. Do you need supplements? Not necessarily. Supplements are an adjunct. They can help support the process, but it doesn't mean that it's going to, it's not going to work if you don't do supplements. If you want to do supplements, this is what I'm going to recommend. Get some electrolytes that don't have any artificial sweeteners, that has good quality electrolytes in it. Get some Celtic salt so you can add it to your water. And then omega-3s, probiotics, and magnesium. Those are three I'm definitely going to recommend when it comes to supplementation. There's more, but I'm really about, the longer you are with me and work with us, we customize supplementation. We base it on what your hormonal profile looks like. Your hormone profile is based on, what issues, imbalances is your body dealing with at that given moment. And that's where we customize your supplements around that. But there's always base supplements that I always recommend. Omegas, probiotics, magnesium, a liver support product. And then there's something else in there. I forget. Anyway, there's usually, why am I forgetting? Magnesium, omega-3, vitamin D. Man, I knew there was something. Vitamin D you want to be taking. But do you need to start that right away, right now? No. If you're all for it, it's not going to get you all, bottlenecked, then great. Like I said, you can go Complete Body Labs, do Lydia 15 and you get 15% off. But those are the supplements that I recommend. And then things that also can help are things like NAD plus and glutathione. These I prefer in sub-Q injection. We actually provide them through our company, and you can reach out to us if you want to get them. They're going to help support your body on a cellular level. It's going to help with detoxification, help support your liver, help with your mitochondria, energy, like I said, on a cellular level. But again, do you have to have supplements to get the results? No, we're really trying to focus on our food, the quality of it, reducing that inflammation, and taking in the proper ratios for this specific time frame. Next question is, can I still work out? What we recommend is not to do strength training. And yes, strength training is really important, but for the ratios that you're taking in, the calories that you're taking in, the lower to moderate carbohydrates that you're taking in, you're not going to be taking in enough proper fuel to really fuel a strong strength training workout. But what we do want you to do is we want you to move. We want you to walk, Pilates, stretch, yoga, anything that's going to help mobility and your lymphatic system, but also help bring your cortisol levels down. We want to try to really level out. Remember, reduce inflammation. We want to support our gut. We want to start, healing our gut, support our liver, but really balance out those hormones that are out of whack. So for the period of time, you want to avoid any strenuous strength training. Next is, can I drink coffee? Yes. 1 cup of coffee needs to be organic, mold-free. This actually can support, because it has antioxidant and metabolism properability, supporting properties. But if it's not organic and if it's not mold-free, then don't do it. More water than anything else, 1 cup. What I am going to suggest is that you do some teas. Green tea is going to help with some fat burning. It's a lower caffeine content, but I do a lot of caffeine-free teas. Like in here, I have some throat coat tea. I like everyday detox tea. That's what it's called, everyday detox. I also do ginger and lemon tea by Yogi, traditional medicinals tea. You want organic. You don't want any fruit-based. And ginger and lemon, everyday detox, throat coat, and then there's dandelion tea. Dandelion tea does not taste good at all, but it helps with water retention. It's going to help with your liver. It's going to help with your gallbladder. If you have gallbladder issues, if you have a slow moving digestive system, those teas I highly recommend. All right, so there we go. That's a lot. We covered a lot in 60 minutes, you guys. The biggest thing, let me bring this all together for you. Just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Eat quality in the ratios that I talked about. Make sure that you drink plenty of water. Make sure that you're getting your protein in. Make sure that you're getting plenty of vegetables in. Make sure that you're doing the ratios. The app that I use is the Lose It app. You can do MyFitnessPal. Any app that tracks food, but also helps not tracking your food, but your macronutrients, your protein, your fat, and your carb, works for you. Just focus in. Don't try to get fancy. Just do really simple food for 14 days, and you're going to feel amazing. But most importantly is that you're going to reduce that inflammation. You're going to start healing your gut and supporting your liver. This is just the beginning. Then from there, like I talked about, is that then you're going to change up your calories. You change up your ratios. You want to identify where your body is as far as your hormonal imbalances. And you're like, well, Lydia, how do I do that? Do I have to go get labs? Testing is great, but what you can also do is you can go to Hormone Macro Type. This is a quiz that I put together because there's actually 16 different possible hormonal imbalances, but there's 5 dominant that we see with all women. And it's inflammation, it's excess insulin, excess cortisol, sluggish thyroid, and decline of your sex hormones. Your program after the cleanse should really be based around those imbalances or whatever imbalance that you're dealing with so that you can correct the situation. Remember I said a little while ago, you want to fix your metabolism, correct your metabolism. You just don't want to put duct tape over a hole of a boat and see how long it lasts. That just is going to keep you in the cycle that we talked about. We're breaking the cycle. Like I said, your metabolism is fixable. So go to hormonemacrotype.com, go take the free quiz, and what it will do, it'll show you where you possibly fall in those 5 dominant, but also you can get a snapshot of what a customized plan should look like, what your macronutrients should look like, what your fasting should look like, fasting schedule, what supplements, what lifestyle habits, what strength training regimen and other things that you should be doing based on your profile. You say it's a customized plan. So I hope this really helped you. I hope you're super excited to get started. And comment in the comments. Let me know what was the biggest aha and what questions you have. I'll come back on. Maybe I'll do it in a future episode or I'll do it live. Just know is that if you want support, if you want guidance, and you want to be around women that are just like you, moving in that direction on the same thing, same direction, then go take that quiz because I'm going to invite you to my community and it's completely free and you can get more support there. I love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe so you get notifications on next episodes. Make sure that you comment and share it out. By you doing that, it actually helps me and supports me so that I can keep doing this type of content for you for free. All right, so I really look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you guys on the next session.